Acoustics. We're now going to look at acoustics and school planning and design and see how the physicality of the teaching area can present further vocal problems for the teacher. We know the timetable is very vocally heavy, and sometimes school design and planning isn't always in the teacher's favour. Pupils are not encouraged to work in absolute silence any longer. Indeed, many would find it almost impossible to sustain a degree of quiet for any length of time. But continued noise, and a teacher is talking continually against a background of noise, continued noise, too much noise, has a detrimental effect on learning. It can disrupt concentration, affect reading ability and long-term memory. And for the teacher, it can build up stress, ill health, and of course, vocal problems. Now, many modern buildings are built with an open plan design, shared working space, and sometimes the divisions and partitions are not always user-friendly. Perhaps they don't absorb enough sound, or perhaps absorb the wrong kind of sounds. Lots of glass, exposed brickwork, steel frames can cause problems. They can cause sharp, echoey sounds, so the voice has to work in a different way. Floor covering, carpets, curtains, heavy materials absorb and deaden sound, so the voice has to be used differently in that situation if it's going to be heard clearly and flexibly. And old buildings with high ceilings, well, they present another problem for the teacher. Now, of course, we know about gyms, labs, science areas, computer rooms, drama studios, language labs, swimming baths and sports halls and out-of-school areas, playing fields and so on. They are minefields unless the voice is used properly. After-school clubs, drama clubs and of course sports fixture matches take place at the end of the day. The teacher's voice is tired naturally, and pupils were more energetic, more boisterous. So different types of voices are competing, and again an enormous challenge for the teacher. Sadly, an unwillingness to sign up for an extracurricular activity, even with a heavy teaching load, is sometimes misinterpreted as a lack of interest in the school or the students or the subject. That's unfair, but it's a reality. So again, we see that the pressures on the voice are enormous. Now, an actor could use his or her voice in any physical space without fear of damage or loss. He would have the techniques to equip him to deal with such space. So it makes sense, doesn't it, that the teacher should have some vocal awareness. Not only is the teacher using perhaps a different space each day and several times throughout the day, but different levels. Sometimes the voice is dealing with one-to-one, then small group, then larger group, whole class, an assembly, a year group, the whole school. So constantly shifting from one level to another. Again, a vocal challenge, especially in a difficult area. So we're going to take a closer look now at one or two of these very challenging spaces and consider what we can do vocally to help the voice to equip itself in these areas and present itself in a more flexible, resilient and healthy manner.